What's something obvious for everyone, but you only just realized? This was a long time ago, but the first time I got my eyes checked, I was in first or second grade or something. The optometrist told my mom I'm almost completely blind in one eye. She looks at me and asks why I wouldn't say anything. I said, I thought everyone only had one working eye. That's ridiculous to ask a kid, though. When I got glasses at around 13, my parents didn't ask me why I never said I was nearsighted. I just thought my eyesight was normal. Like, it would only make sense if people were walking around saying things like, look, that tree has exactly 200 leaves on it. Then, people might realize their eyesight isn't normal. That's why we have tests for these things. It's always the leaves, man. Every time I get a new prescription, I notice the trees have so many leaves. One of the signs that a kid has bad eyesight is that they often complain of mild headaches. It's from squinting all the time to see things. Because kids don't know their eyes are bad. Some people are just stupid. An old archaeologist moved in next door when I was about 6, and he asked me to go look on his driveway to help find fossils that he might dropped while moving in. I found 2 that I still have to this very day. He told me to keep them. I was an adult before I realized he placed them there for me to find. He was a very nice old professor. Not mention how cool I became in the eyes of my friends for owning fossils. Ah, so what kind of fossils are they? A trilobite and some kind of part of a coral. My grandmother gave me a 1880s penny when I was about 7. She told me she found it in her chimney and I might want it. I started collecting coins. Not seriously, just the fun Royal Mint circulated ones and some commemorative coins, since proper old coins are really expensive. She left me her coin collection when she died. Hundreds of pre-decimal coins. She never found it in her chimney but made little me very happy. That is how adults make children's childhoods magical. I didn't know my mom had a name until in first grade the teacher asked us what our mother's name was. Everyone answered, but me. I never realized my mom had a name. I questioned my entire existence. I went to her straight after school. She was cooking in the kitchen. I asked her, Mama, what's your name? She smiled, stopped cooking and came down to my height and told me her name. It was a sweet memory, but man, I felt shame that I didn't know that sooner. I actually made a little song for my son, so that he would be able to remember my legal name and my husband's legal name in case it was ever necessary. I was so worried he would be insisting my name was Mama in an emergency. I also made up songs for our address and our phone numbers. I got the idea from a blog. Man, this reminds me of back in kindergarten when my teacher asked me what my last name was. I was on the brink of tears, because I didn't even know I was supposed to have more than one. So I'm not a native speaker, which might make this somewhat excusable. But for the longest time, I thought sitcoms were named that because the main characters spend most of their time sitting in a living room, in a bar. Even most native speakers don't realize that it's a combination of situational comedy. I used to think it means sit-down comedy because the laughing in the background came from people sitting in the audience enjoying the comedy. As opposed to stand-up comedy, where the audience stands through the whole set. Ha, got him. I'm not a native. For some reason always knew it's situational comedy. But I still don't understand what situational comedy means. When one of the characters gets into a difficult situation and they handle it in a funny way. A classic example is the I Love Lucy episode where Lucy and Ethel are working at the chocolate factory, and they get behind in production and they eat some of the chocolate as it goes by on the conveyor belt. The result is messy and funny. Another episode shows Lucy in the bathtub, suds up to her neck. She sticks her toe into the faucet and her toe gets stuck. I don't remember what happened after that. A modern example would be on Big Bang Theory. Sheldon teaches Penny how to play an online computer game. Penny becomes addicted to the computer game, not taking care of herself, her job or anything. And she is a total mess, with Cheetos in her dirty hair. I think the rest of the gang have to get her away from the game and get her to see that it's not good for her to play the game. A few years back, I realized that the Christmas song, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, wasn't actually about the mother being unfaithful and putting out for Saint Nick, but it was just the dad dressed as Santa. For almost my entire life, I thought the mom just got around. I was 26 when I realized otherwise. I'm 1 week from turning 39 and I'm finding this out now. This is exactly why my mother, now 80, never let us listen to this song as kids. She told me as an adult that it set a horrible example for kids who didn't understand.